the vaccine. We should be very clear on this. We cannot afford to have, is it finance, is it health, is it national medical stores? And who should guide who? Who should sort out who? Honorable Minister, we are in a crisis. We now need to know who is supposed to procure vaccine for this country. Is it national medical stores? Or is it Minister of Health? Or even in finance?
Whoever asks for it.
So really, because the country now, we take for example, the most, I don't know how I can even put it, but really the priority now is vaccine. Who is supposed to procure this vaccine? Honorable Minister of Finance. Whom are you going to give money to procure the vaccine?
Let me repeat myself.
Last time we appropriated money for vaccine, didn't we?
Yes.
You gave that money to who?
I think we must. I can't know. I don't remember the real details. But if the request came under Ministry of Health, the money will go to Ministry of Health.
Will the Minister of Health procure the vaccine eventually to end up with him?
Well, that can be a working relationship between them and the Minister of Health, because Minister of Health may be knowing where maybe this vaccine can be obtained from better than the national health. National drug. Yeah. So really, they must sort the things among themselves. The burden should not be put on finance. They should sort out themselves. They have a sector. They know how to handle things. Then my job is to make money available to whoever asks for that money. Or if it is appropriation, under what appropriation?
Do you, Honorable Kasaija, do you see it as a challenge? Because really here it's not, and colleagues, we are not fault finding. We are here to look for solutions. We are not here to look for who is having a problem here. And we are here to find a solution for our people. Is there a colleague who has?
When we were in Kololo, the Minister of Finance, designate, told us that 560 billion, which is equivalent of $160 million, was appropriated, was in the estimate. They are telling us from NMS that for them they are going to procure vaccines for 80 billion for this country in this crisis. Who else has the mandate to procure vaccines? According to the law, the provision mandates NMS to procure. Who else and where is the money, the other money? The documents we have is 560 billion. You are the finance minister. We want to hear from you. What is there for this country for the vaccines? NMS. Just on this again.
One second. Who got this money for purposes of procuring the vaccine? Yes. Is it national medical stores? Is it Ministry of Health?
Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. I conclude.
Mr. Chairman, let's be very clear.
Yes.
The question you should be asking, under whose vote was that money appropriated?
It's the same question.
The same.
No.
Answer it that way.
Okay. Now, that depends on how the sector has organized itself. You know, I don't have power to tell the Minister for Finance, for anything and say, no. This money must come under the medical medical store.
No, did you release the money?
Sorry? No. We have not released any money at all.
For
For Q1.
For vaccine last time?
The last time.
Yes.
I will need to check on that one. I don't know whether it was, yes.
Mr.
Mr. Chairman, you are really...
Relax, colleagues. The minister is going to explain. The minister is going to explain.
I have come to this meeting unprepared because I have no invitation letter. I have not got instruction that come with this information. So, please, I'm answering some of these details. Is different for the minister. I would have come with my budget, my man in charge of budget would tell the answer. So maybe I call, if you can give me a chance, let us, maybe tomorrow, I will come with the technical officers if you give me all the questions that you want me to answer. But what I'm talking now is a mere principle. I can't tell whether this money now should have been with the Minister of Health or with the medical stores.
Order. Mr. Chairman, I was concluding on the vaccines.
Okay. Solutions to the challenges the country is facing. And Honorable Kasaji, I think you need also to get this. We are not here to put you into a corner to say, okay, you voted. No. That's not the committee I chair. The committee I chair wants to find solutions to the challenges. The country is in trouble. We are having a crisis. We need solutions. And nobody of us is going to politics, for sure. Was money appropriated for vaccine? Why didn't we get the vaccine? Was money released? It was released to who? Because now there is already money being appropriated this financial year for procurement of what? Of vaccine.
We are in a crisis, there's no question about that. But at the same time, you can't solve the crisis disorderly. You must also move orderly. Because there is a lot to follow, there is accountability to make. Having made that, in my view, the issue is to get vaccines. Whether it is through NMS or through the Ministry of Health. Unless the law is saying otherwise. But if it is just a matter of practice, I am not bothered who procures. As long as it procures according to the law, we get the best deal and they have a contract with the supplier. So it can be either NMS, depending, as I said, there are different arrangements within sectors. In some cases, it will be an MDA that procures. In some cases, it will be the mother ministry that will, the permanent secretary of the mother ministry that procures. So in this particular case, I think this question, sir, we should be directed to the NMS, but also if you could ask the Minister for Health to come. Or if you want, I can go back and give it to you in writing to whom, because you have asked the question, who did you vote the money for, under what vote? That one I can come, because it's a technical question, I can go. It's a very easy question to answer. Even if now I take my phone, I will know who did the money, under what vote was the money appropriated.
Mr. Chairman, can I finish my submission? Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The other sources of vaccines. How much is Pfizer vaccine? How much is Moderna vaccine? How much is Johnson & Johnson? Because you are talking about AstraZeneca, which we know that has got a problem. We are aware that Pfizer vaccine...
No. What problem?
The procurement, I'm talking about procurement.
Because I don't want to say that we have said that.
No, I was coming to that, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
That was my next
So for clarification, he didn't say that there is a problem.
It's a problem with procurement, not with the efficacy. We are aware, Mr. Chairman, that Pfizer vaccine covers 88% for even the Delta variant. We are aware that AstraZeneca covers 60%. In the event now that we have been invaded by Delta, and there is a Delta plus, the cabinet, now that also the finance minister is here, first of all, we are wondering why you are dilly-dallying to take a decision to procure these vaccines. And our advice would be to go for Pfizer. Now that we have been invaded seriously by the Delta variant.
Honorable Dr. Abed, we are not going to give advice on which vaccine to go for, please. Please, I think let's limit.
Mr. Chairman,
No.
You said in your words that we are looking for a solution. Solutions come from everywhere.
No,
we are in an emergency. I think we should be allowed to voice some of our views on these things.
No. Yes, we are going to do that, but and so on. It will be very difficult for us, for example, me who is a lawyer, and I say, our advice for you to go for Pfizer or whatever it is. We would like the profession to explain. And even Kamabare is actually not a doctor. I don't think he's a doctor. So when your colleagues come, the doctors, Minister of Health, come here, we can have an interaction on which vaccine and so on. But I don't want to say that Parliament has advised that you go for this. Really, we need to walk our lane. We need to walk our lane, and I think you get it in good faith. You get the clarification. You could have a professional view. It will come together with other professionals, and then you advise.
And if so, did they finally give you the money that was required to complete that procurement? Because that money was budgeted for.
Because he cannot give us what he doesn't have. He says he's not sure the COVID vaccine. And we cannot get that answer. Even if we beat him up now, we can't get. So let's not stress on that.
I was overseeing the sector in the previous parliament.
Chairman Health Committee.
And I want to agree with Mr. Kamabari that he has 80 billion as far as COVID vaccines are concerned. And the 500 or so billion that was read in the budget is not yet even in the sector. It was, I think, in finance, they are the ones planning to procure. So I wanted to give you information that whereas is the one mandated, that is what we officially gave him. The other 500 and something, Mr. Kasaija, Honorable Kasaija's technical team knows where it is and the plans for that one. But what Mr. Kamara presented is what we gave him, 80 billion for COVID vaccines.
And how many doses are for 80 billion?
Subject to discussion. We know we are given an extra 200 billion shillings by finance, and we had several other things to cut for NMS particularly. So the 120 was taken for operationalization of facilities that were built for HIV and TB drugs and others, but then 80 was ring-fenced for COVID. But the important point to note in his presentation is point number 4, where he talked about being given supplies that were procured by other entities, including the Mother Ministry, Minister of Health to procure. During this crisis, they procured and gave him to supply. And I think that is the tendency of where we are going. So as a team, you should note that their challenge is there. His mandate has been partly taken, usurped by institutions, maybe Minister of Finance and Minister of Health. That is the implication from point number 4, which I get. But that is the information I wanted to give, Mr. Chair, which is for follow-up in the future meetings. It may not be concluded today.
Wednesday, many of my colleagues, actually the majority, will now be in the field. They will not be here. What will be left here is a small secretarial team. The impression I'm getting from Dr. Bukenya and what I've got from Mr. Kamavare is that we have government institutions all trying to do procurement of drugs, of supplies. And I think this is where the problem is. I hope the Minister of Finance gets this point, because eventually you are the one who releases this money. You release to this one, you release to this one, you release to this one. Now these ones just, their duty is just to procure and dump it to National Medical Store, you go and distribute. They even don't know whether he has got facilities to store them or warehouse them. Because some of them need to be warehoused in a very difficult, environment. Refrigeration and so on, which they may not have the necessary refrigeration facilities. They may be overwhelmed. So really, you need to clean up these acts of yours.
But Mr. Chairman and the colleagues, is an arm of the Ministry of Health. No.
Yes, we agree.
Yes, yes. So really, they should operate. I mean, it would look funny for me, for example, I came here and I told you that I don't know what is happening in the Bank of Uganda, or I don't know what is happening in the Uganda National Investment Authority. It will be very clear. They ought to work as one body. They may have different functions, but the overall person eventually, of course, to account for all these is the minister in charge of health. So I think, I don't know why there is that disconnection between the two, I don't know. That's why, Mr. Chairman, I agree with you. Let us first listen to the Minister of Health. Then we'll be able to make a good conclusion of this matter. In my view, that's what I suggest.
Okay, we will, and we'll make the conclusion.
Really vaccination, and you are coming to meet such a committee, and you don't know whether you have raised money for vaccination or not. It took me aback, but the issue of PPEs, which you realize, manager, that most of us are concerned. I have a message from my health center 4. The whole team has now started reusing disposable masks. They just wash and use them again. And the message from the in-charge says, we are going to abandon this fight. And I'm asking myself, where is the problem? That if that cannot be a priority, fortunately the minister is here of finance. Where are you keeping these things in your stores? Is it because you are supposed to store? Why don't you just let the PPEs go to where they are supposed to be? We are under a lot of pressure as members of parliament, almost every day.
Why don't you ask me? Because that's the same question the Honorable Commissioner asked. Do you still have PPEs in your stores?
Yes, Honorable Chair, we do have.
And the issue, our colleagues listen to this. In the health facilities, yet you have them in the stores. I think that's the big question, not so? And that one you have to answer directly. The health facilities lack, the health workers lack these PPEs. You have them in the stores. What is the problem?
Mr. Chairman, maybe let me give you, for the new members of parliament, this may not be very clear to you. By law, at the end of a financial year, every balance of the money on any vote, unless it has been committed, or they have asked us to give them a special account in the Bank of Uganda to store that money, the money is all swept back into the consolidated fund. So she was saying Mr. Honorable Kashaija, you have taken away all the money. I can't distribute PPEs, I can't distribute drugs, I can do what? So I asked, I said, Mama, we should have given us your plan. If you had given us your plan, then they will to provide that you need the money. Now the money definitely has to go back. But because of the urgency of the matter, we are working for us tirelessly to return that money this week. This week, next week. We are working. So there is, I'm sorry, I don't want to criticize, as we said, this should not be finding faults. But there is really, they must straighten their own action, because that money should have been committed. This is what I said, why didn't you commit that money so that it does not come back to the consolidated fund?
Which money?
The money that was meant to buy, the way she was talking that he needs the money, now we are talking about distribution. He needs the money to pay the drivers' allowances. He needs the money to buy fuel for the vehicles. Now that money was all returned to the treasury because they did not use it by end of the financial year.
Money of national medical stores or money of Ministry of Health?
Where is she was talking, I don't know whether it was Kamavari. Is it you who did not use that money? I don't know.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman.
I'm quoting what my colleague, the Minister for Health, told me. I don't know whether it is the medical stores did not.
Honorable colleagues, this is a very serious problem occurring all over the country because they lack PPEs.
Yes.
And in the process, they are abandoning the patients.
Yes.
Because they can't endanger their lives. Whereas PPEs have been procured and they are lying in the national medical stores. And the question is to Mr. Kamabale, why are we not distributing them to the various health units? Is it about logistics or is it about they have not been requested for? Mr. Kamabale.
I have already informed the committee that all the PPEs that we have in NMS, the ones that are related to COVID response, are owned by Ministry of Health. So we are warehousing and distributing upon their instructions. Yes.
Yes.
Now, two.
So they place orders on you.
Yes. They must give us written orders on what we are going to distribute where. Now, number two is that we received, because routinely since March 2020, we have been delivering these PPEs to referral hospitals and other designated points, which are the entry points in the country. Every month, as separate deliveries are outside of the routine deliveries, again upon the instruction of Ministry of Health. The challenge that we are having now, Honorable Chair and Honorable members, is this upsurge of the second wave. Now, when it came, at the beginning, it didn't look like it was going to be a challenge. And now that it has become obvious that it is a very big challenge, Ministry of Health has now expanded the treatment sites, the sites to handle COVID beyond the regional referral hospitals. And I think, honorable members, this is what I want us to understand. So they have gone to the general hospitals, and now they are saying even lower health facilities should be able to handle, to some extent, these cases. And as a result of that decision, Ministry of Health last week gave us another order. Now, beyond the routine one of the regional referral hospitals and above, and the other designated points, now they have given us an order for the general hospitals. They have also given us an order for the lower facilities, the health center 4s, health center 2s, and health center 3s. Now, we are moving, Mr. Chairman and honorable members. All of a sudden, we have a situation where we were routinely distributing supplies to about 60 designated points that is the regional referral hospitals, national referral hospitals, and the entry points, now we have to distribute to 3,000 individual entities. And the order came last week. And again, as the Honorable Minister of Finance has said, we have also been able to raise this issue with the Honorable Minister of Health, and saying this order has come at the time when the financial year is ending. Because we have routine orders to deliver against the monies that Parliament appropriated to us. If we do not deliver these orders or process these orders, then tomorrow the Auditor General who is going to audit us is going to hold us responsible for not absorbing the monies which we are given. So we have additional work to do. Good enough, our teams have been able to finish the routine orders, processing of the routine orders. We haven't delivered about 10% of them because now we have told people, you have finished processing the orders, yes, against this, but please now stop for the time being for the next week. We have agreed with the head of the warehouse and operations because he's the one now who in whose charge they process the orders and the vehicles deliver. And we have said, for this crisis that we are in, let us now divert all our effort since the financial year has started to processing the orders for PPEs. And that is what we have started to process this morning. We have already processed all the orders for the general hospitals and the regional referral hospitals, which are now on the floor, and we have agreed with the transport that they stop delivering all the other routine orders. Starting tomorrow, we are starting to deliver PPEs to the general hospitals and the 53 general hospitals and the regional referral hospitals.
Mr. Kamabale, do you have the money to enable you to do that job?
We have asked our people that since the Minister of Health, I talked to my Minister of Health, and she assured me that she is going to talk to you and you will resolve the issue of money. I have asked our people, Honorable Chair, I am glad that the Honorable Minister of Health of Finance has confirmed, because this is the promise that she gave me, that she is going to talk to her colleague and they are going to avail the money. So I have told my teams, get the money that you have on your bank accounts, let us distribute these supplies. Yes, because, Mr. Chairman, this is the challenge that we are working in. It is a challenge that we have been having. You have, Honorable Chair, you have guided that we only talk about COVID-related things. If when we go to the health, the other committees, we will be talking about other issues to do with IFMIS, to do with the account, which we don't want to bring here. And I know the Honorable Minister of Finance has been in a forum with His Excellency the President and the Honorable Minister of Health, where NMS was, and he asked the Honorable Minister of Finance to get a solution for NMS for the challenges that we presented. He committed that he was going to get that challenge. That was July of 2020. Up to now, I have not had any written solution to that. But we must continue working amid these challenges. So the assurance I want, Honorable Chair, since the media is here, because I do not want us to create an impression.
Yeah, but we are not, Mr. Kamabale, we don't do this work for the media.
Yes.
Like all of us, you can see we are not doing anything like want to impress the media.
No.
What we are trying to do is to how do we handle this challenge?
Yes.
And we got solution to it.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
And the question the minister asked you was, because the minister knows he has not released the money for some of these things.
Yes.
And he knows maybe the money is not even there next week, because there is a process of finance for this. I don't know when they are releasing the first quarter.
No, Mr. Chairman, as we have said, we are doing next week.
Clarification, Mr. Chairman.
You release the money next week?
Yes.
You want to assure
Clarification.
I'm sharing with that one. We have already made arrangement.
Clarification, Mr. Chairman.
Please, we are trying to get a solution. We want money released.
Clarification, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, we are going to have the clarification. If we can have an assurance that the money is going to be released next week, then institutions like NMS may be able to distribute some of these PPEs.
Clarification, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
Now I go back to somebody who has not spoken before.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Let me guide again.
No,
Let me take.
I am coming to that.
Let me be.
I am coming to that, Mr.
Let me
Chairman.
be in charge of this meeting, please. All the language we should use should be parliamentary. Okay?
The minister, in his own words, said, has not released any money to the Ministry of Health. And here, Mr. Kamabale acknowledges to have received 80 billion for the financial year 2021-2022 to procure vaccines. And Mr. Kamabale is still waiting for the government of the fishermen to procure vaccines when Ugandans are dying. And Mr. Chairman, you said we are here to find solutions. The man has the money to procure vaccines, but he's waiting for instructions from government. Are we finding solutions, Mr. Chairman, or we are just here to waste time? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I think it.
Information that Parliament appropriated 80 billion to national medical stores for this financial year for COVID vaccine. Yes, that is an appropriation which was the allocation which they made. We have not received the actual money. One is that finance releases money in quarters. So probably they may not release all of it in quarter one. But that is the money they have given as an indication that it was appropriated.
I think that
by
clarifies
For the
it.
new financial year.
What
this
they did
financial
was
year,
the allocation
2021,
for 2021,
It is not the actual money that you-
2022.
Vaccines that are being administered now, are they donations or we bought as a country? And if we bought as a country, please clarify how many doses did we buy? And if we receive as donations, how many doses did we buy?
It's a very clear question.
Yeah.
Mr. The Honorable Minister.
country, we have, they do not include any one vaccine, any one dose that has been bought by government of Uganda money. All of it so far has been donations.
Now the question that follows is, the money we received last year, where is the money?
Honorable Chair, the money was not voted on NMS, and I am constrained to answer that question.
Mr. Chairman, I am very sure that the tennis parliament passed money, I think around December, for buying vaccines. Where is the money?
We did, and I asked earlier on, you remember, the minister, and that whom did you raise that money to? He said he doesn't have his rep to Minister of Health. Is it possible, or you didn't release any money? But how can you give away the man who releases the money here? Okay, after the minister, then the Honorable Cooper comes in. The Honorable Cooper.
But also we can release, particularly in emergencies, we can even release outside the quota. So if the Minister of Health comes and says, look, I have to get this product here because people are going to die, we do not wait until the quota. We can, but originally it is quarterly. So I can't be able now stand here, but as I said, I will check with the Treasury. I will check which money was given to Minister of Health to buy vaccines.
Okay,
When
can
was
you
it
have
done?
Honorable Cooper, because Honorable...
But if Honorable Cooper has got more information...
The Honorable... from what the Honorable Minister...
billion on vote 014. Vote 014 is Minister of Health. That's what we voted money for the vaccines, 18.5 billion. So that's why now, because if that's what Parliament has voted for, it's under the ministry. Presume that the Minister of Finance releases to the account in which we voted the money for. Yeah? Unless otherwise. So, Chair, we need this money urgently because we need to make a deposit for the vaccine. I'm surprised that all the vaccines that we have got have all been donations. So what happened to the money that this parliament appropriated? Who is still holding the money? Has the Minister of Finance even taken that money back, or that money has been deposited for the vaccine that we had been told about? I think that's why, Honorable Chair, Honorable colleagues, I think when we are having a meeting, we need to have all these people around, Minister of Health, Minister of Finance, NMS, to be all here, such that we know who is messing up the Ugandans. Because this is suicide. This is genocide. Someone is committing genocide. People are dying in the hospitals. Someone is sitting on the money, which we passed so many months ago, and we don't have any vaccines. Some people have got vaccines, only half dose, they are failing to get the second dose. What's going to happen? No wonder the virus is changing, mutating. Because we are not getting a full dose. Honorable Chair, allow me also just to ask this question to the Minister of Finance. The supplementary that we passed money for the allowances. The doctors, the health workers have not got allowances for 3 months. Honorable Minister of Finance, were you duping Parliament at tennis Parliament by passing a supplementary for the allowances? And this money was released. We need to know. Honorable Francis has just told us here, the people of Buheju, the health workers, are washing disposable masks. Some are resigning. Mr. Kamabala, I forwarded you a letter that I received from the DH of Serere about their cry. So far, 8 health workers have tested positive. The rest are scared. The PPEs are not there. Mr. Makamabale here is caught up. Part of that money was supposed to help NMS for the distribution. For the distribution. Now, they are stuck. If there was no money, has he put a request for a supplementary to provide for the extra warehousing and for the transportation, the distribution? Because you have asked Parliament, you are asking this committee. This committee cannot, we will only wait what comes from finance, that this has been a request. Have you made the request, or has the Minister of Health made the request to the Minister of Finance that you have a shortage, we need money for distribution, for extra warehousing, and then it comes to Parliament, then you will be able to do what? To approve. Finally, Mr. Chairman.
Finally.
On the issues of the oxygen equipment, I'll give a reference again to Soroti Regional Referral Hospital. First, we thank you for the percent. It can only fill 45% of the cylinder. That is the plant that you have in Soroti Regional Referral Hospital. So it needs an upgrade, and I don't think it's only Soroti Regional Hospital. I think, colleagues, when you go in the field, check all regional referral hospitals to find what type of oxygen plants they have. They are obsolete, they are outdated, they cannot produce. Chairman, you talked about the oxygen, the different oxygen.
Yeah.
I mean, the quality of the oxygen.
Yeah.
That's what the doctor told us there.
I want to give opportunity to other
Thank
colleagues.
you, Chairman.
Yeah. Yes, Honorable, and then
If the clerk can first of all give me that instruction to appear here. 2, if there are questions that you would like, the spec questions, how much money, where this, I wish they also could be listed in that letter of invitation for the meeting. So that
even this meeting, the letter had gone, maybe it is not on your desk. Because you know how Parliament operates. Parliament does not operate by verbal communication. So the letter will come.
Very good.
Yeah, but even this particular one,
No,
the letter was dispersed.
I've just seen it here in the file. I've just seen it in the file here. But as I told you, I have not seen it at all.
No, that was our final copy.
Oh.
Which they have given you.
Okay.
But maybe it's lying with your secretary, so you need to check. But either way, I agree, but you have instruction to deliver the ministers. The Honourable Minister, Matia Kasaja, the Exchequer.
Just hit the country. And that is the 3 billion, the first instruction that we got from the Minister of Health to start off the response. That is 1 year ago. But in my presentation, I have made it absolutely clear to this committee that since that time, we have been distributing supplies to all those facilities, Bolago, all the national referral hospitals, and the regional referral hospitals, every month on the instruction of Ministry of Health, and they have since scaled up significantly in response to the challenge that is within the hospital. Actually, at one time, towards the end of the first wave, we even had to be told to stop distributing because Mulago, other referral hospitals said we no longer need these things because we all thought the COVID challenge had gone. We have just resumed now with the new wave.
Mr. Chair, we are not privy to that information. It's not annexed anywhere.
On the market to buy, but one is that we have a category of the vaccines which have not yet been approved by the WHO, and therefore, according to our government, according to the scientific committee and the vaccine committee that advises the minister and then the cabinet, once WHO has not approved those vaccines, they cannot come to market in Uganda. So you have like the Sputnik in Russia and others which have not been approved, and therefore they cannot be, though available on the market, they can't be brought into the country. Number two, we
Chair, clarification. Chairman. No,
yes, that we have that category of the vaccines that we cannot get on the market because they have not been approved, and they include those ones from Cuba and others. So those ones we can't get here. Number two, there are those vaccines that have been listed by WHO, but their cost is on the other side. Just as an example, the information available for the vaccine from China, a dose is between $35 to $40 per dose, compared to the one, the AstraZeneca of India, which was at $4. So for each dose of the Indian version, you would have to get 10. Rather, for each 10 of the Indian, you would have to get 1. And that in such Uganda being a resource-constrained country, that is why the input and the decision and go-ahead of cabinet comes first. I can have my input as an individual, we can have our input as NMS, but that input does not amount to much if the final decision by cabinet is that you go the other way. So, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members, on the decision of where we are going to buy and which type we are going to buy, that is a decision of Ministry of Health, and Honorable Chair and Members, that is the issue you can put to the Ministry of Health.